How you doing, guys? Welcome to The Chosen One. So today we're going to talk about the Rise of Skywalker. Did it spoil the Chosen One prophecy or did it not? Now, firstly, let's address the question: was it needed? Was the Rise of Skywalker actually needed, or was it the sequel trilogy actually needed? Now, I personally think that the sequel trilogy shouldn't be considered part of the Skywalker saga, because I think the Skywalker saga ended with the originals, and I think we could do the Chosen One. So today we're going to talk about the Rise of Skywalker. Did it spoil the Chosen One prophecy or did it not? Now, firstly, let's address the question: was it needed? Was the Rise of Skywalker actually needed, or was it the sequel trilogy actually needed? Now, I personally think that the sequel trilogy shouldn't be considered part of the Skywalker saga, because I think the Skywalker saga ended with the originals, and I think we could have done better here, because we could have called this the saga of the grandchildren of Palpatine and Skywalker, because the ending of this movie was a bit anticlimactic. I mean, Palpatine being killed by a Palpatine, how is that the Rise of Skywalker is beyond me. One could argue, that Kylo was redeemed, and I'm really sorry for the spoilers. Kylo was redeemed in the end, and then he came back, and then hence the Skywalker came back, and then he saved Rey. Well, no, it doesn't work like that. It's just, I personally think that Rey should have had her own arc, which she kind of did, but then dissing Kylo like that in the end and being very fan servicey about it wasn't something I like. I mean, in this whole sequel trilogy, Kylo was by far my favorite character, because you could see the conflict in him. He was a bit like Anakin, but I mean, more younger. And to say it was like a Chosen One prophecy came true, I mean, it did came true in at the Return of the Jedi, but bringing Palpatine back wasn't the key here. I think they should have sticked with Snoke, and they should have had a different backstory for Snoke, and then they could have explained it more nicely, and then they could have had a Rise of Skywalker thing going on with that if Kylo decided to come back to the light and fight against Snoke. See, the problem here was that in The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson had no idea what to do with Snoke, so they decided to kill him off, and obviously it was a shocker which divided the Star Wars fandom. I mean, it did more harm than good to the fandom. And this movie, I personally believe, was a way to rectify and apologize to the fans by saying, oh guys, we're really sorry, we messed up, let's retcon this, and let's retcon that, and let's retcon this, and let's retcon that. And this kept on going on, and some of the references were so blunt, like when Rey threw the lightsaber in the fire and Luke caught it and said that, oh, this is no way to treat a Jedi as a weapon, and we're like, aha, Rian Johnson. So yeah, we can go on and on about Rian Johnson. Sorry, not Rian Johnson. I mean, Rian Johnson personally is great, but The Last Jedi, on and on about it, but let's not. So yeah, Palpatine being killed by Rey. Did we expect that? Did we? I think we did. I think we all did, because Rey was mega powerful, like massively powerful, and nothing could go wrong with her. See, if you brought Palpatine back, he is ultimate power and all that, and then you decide to just make him just kill him the same way Mace Windu almost did. I mean, come on, haven't we learned something from Darth Maul trying to use the same trick on Obi-Wan which he did on Qui-Gon? Haven't we decided to learn from that? No. Why? I don't know. So I personally think that's we could have handled that a bit better. Let's say you brought Palpatine back again. No reasons given, but you brought him back. Okay, so at least give him some time, though. Just show us how powerful he is. If you bring an entity like Emperor Palpatine back to full form, again disregarding the fact that Anakin plunged him in the reactor shaft or whatever that was, and he burst into this blue flames, and I feel like those were the spirits of the Sith or whatever. But you don't bring him back. You just bring Snoke back, or you could say that Snoke was the embodiment of the dark side, or he could, it's just, I don't get that. Look, I love Palpatine. Palpatine is absolutely amazing. Now, I'm just saying that you brought Palpatine back, give us a reason. Could have said something in the movie other than, like, that rebel officer said, oh, Palpatine is back because it was probably cloning and only the Seekers the Sith knew. And I mean, come on. We had a whole time period when the clones were fighting against the droids, and do you know what that was called? The Clone Wars. Star Wars, the Clone Wars, So you don't say it was Seekers the Sith knew, no. Yeah, it's just again, there was a lot to unpack here, But then, if you bring a grand character like Palpatine back, you don't make him lose cheaply by Rey. At least give Palpatine those 2 lightsabers, or at least 1 lightsaber, and just make him at least fight one of them. I mean, he killed Sazy Tin, he killed all those 3, Kit Fisto, and there was another other Jedi Master, I forgot. All of them in a matter of seconds, and he just loses to Rey, who's this all powerful goddess-like thing. So it's just very hard to compute. As a Star Wars fan, I felt a bit annoyed, and then it's Rey being the person killing him, and then you saying that this is the Rise of Skywalker. I don't know how this is the Rise of Skywalker. I mean, was it the Rise of Skywalker because Rey, in the end, when the lady asks, oh, who are you? She's just like, Rey, looks into the side, sees Leia and Luke, and says, Skywalker. I mean, come on, that's not the Rise of Skywalker. It's just Rise of... I don't know what this was the Rise of, but you could have given a different name, not the Rise of Skywalker. And personally, again, as I said, the Skywalker saga for me ended with the originals because that actually made sense. The prequels complemented it. Now, some people hate the prequels. I personally love the prequels. I think it was a great addition, and I think it was a great background context to the originals. Obviously, I would definitely agree that some of the dialogue was clunky. No offense to the actors. I think the actors did a great job. It was, again, the writing was a bit clunky. I personally feel like the prequels were needed. But these movies, you could have argued that these are about the children of Skywalker and Palpatine, not part of the Skywalker saga, because the Skywalker saga, hands down, ended with the originals. So this is what I had to say. Oh yeah, also, again, how epic would had it been had we seen Force Ghost. Now, I don't know if this is true, but someone said, a colleague of mine at work told me that they did film a scene with the Force Ghost actually being there. So we hear voices in the end in Rey's with Rey saying, "With the Force be with you," and Rey, "You got this," blah blah blah. But they actually filmed the scene with Samuel L. Jackson and Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen. All of them were there. They filmed Force Ghost, but turns out, guess what? It's banned in China. I mean, not banned in China, but the Chinese government apparently didn't like Force Ghosts. They don't like ghosts, so hence, this is what I've heard. So take it with a pinch of salt, or as in Star Wars, a grain of sand. Well, thank you so much for listening, guys. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and put in the comments below that do you agree that this The Rise of Skywalker actually did it spoil the Chosen One prophecy, or did it not? I personally think it did, but let's see what you get in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.